Ba-na-na-na-na.
Hey everybody, I'm AJ Hamilton.
And I'm Jay Salahi.
And we are cinemasesh.
And this week we saw the 5th installment in the DC Extended Universe.
And the direct follow-up to Batman vs. Superman.
Justice
League. So
Spoilers!
watch yourself.
Or should I say, chickadee check yourself.
Before you rickety wreck the whole movie for yourself.
Oh, that was Candace. Oh no!
Jay, where did we see this?
We did not see this together.
No, we did not.
I don't know if you watched it alone or not, did you?
No, I watched it with my girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah.
Must be nice. See, if you have a girlfriend, you get to never go
Automatic
alone to
date.
things. Yeah.
Automatic date.
That's cool.
She loves it.
Yeah, I saw this actually at the Chinese Grauman's.
Ooh, neat.
IMAX.
Nice.
But diving right into it.
Dive into it,
This
man.
movie, I mean, we finally got here.
Yeah, we got a few new characters in this one. We obviously have Batman and Wonder Woman coming back together after Wonder Woman's fantastic performance at the box office, and they met in Batman vs. Superman. We get introduced to the Flash, Barry Allen. We see Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa. Flash is, of course, played by Ezra Miller. We also get Cyborg, or Victor Stone, played by Ray Fisher.
So that is the main. I mean, it's unite the 7 in the comics, but it's like unite the 5. We build up to unite the 6 up in this movie.
That's right. And we see hints of the 7th.
Hints. I mean, very subtle. Which I was actually surprised we got. Flashing, I guess, later in the movie, there's a glimpse of Green Lantern. I was like, hey, that felt like a fun, organic way to throw him in there. So
yeah, he exists somewhere in the universe.
Yeah,
so,
sure. That may or may not exist after this podcast.
Maybe not. Who knows?
But jumping right into it, I want to say my overall aspect on this movie, I guess, this is how I would explain the problems.
Yeah.
Or not the problems, but the biggest flaw is also its biggest positive.
Okay.
Is what we're going back to. It's like they over course corrected from Batman vs. Superman. So we're getting this kind of like, it feels this truncated outline of a movie. I mean, this is how I would describe it. Okay, the movie kind of plays out as if you're making dinner, right? And you're doing laundry in the background, and maybe you took out the trash, went and smoked a cigarette at some point. You came back in, you missed 2 minutes here, you missed 30 seconds there. You walked out, you missed 6 minutes when you smoked the cigarette, but you came back in and you sat down and watched the movie and you never rewound,
Okay.
And it's like, and the bits you saw, that is the movie that Justice League is. It feels like it's a movie with just little bits and pieces throughout actually missing. The other movies feel like they're too big and overplotted and maybe not quite as narrow focus as it should have been.
Yeah.
And then this movie feels like, as they over-course corrected, like every scene feels like they just maybe trimmed a little bit too much, or it needed 2 more minutes here, 3 more minutes there. It basically is like a 70-minute Justice League cartoon, I feel like a kid version of a movie, where it's like, as a kid it feels full, but when you get a little older, you look at it and you realize it's the smallest amount of characterization possible, and it's trying to get through everything as quick as possible, because a kid's what do you call it? Attention span doesn't last as long, so you're trying to make it truncated. So that's what this is.
Oh, look, everybody has different colors.
Yeah.
And they're fighting the big gray guy. That's all you really need to know. They argue a little bit, and then they come together, and then they're fighting that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that an interesting point to look at is in Batman versus Superman, there are 3 different character storylines that they don't really know what's going on outside of their storylines.
Yeah.
And in this, it's you don't know what's going on in the bad guy's storyline, really.
No.
You never.
Well, he wants to destroy the world.
He wants to destroy the world.
Or bring
period.
his world. Yeah,
exactly.
But no reason why.
No reason why.
Does
he is he a bad guy? Who wants to take over the world, or does he want to? Is he like Starscream? Starscream even has a little bit more development in the Transformer movies, because he's sort of like, I kind of want to take Megatron out, and that'd be cool if I led. But we get none of that in this. He just sort of wants to make Darkseid proud or something. I have no idea. But he doesn't even really get that length of an explanation. I think it's a throwaway line.
No, I don't think if you if you are not a nerd, I don't think you have any idea that they even mentioned Darkseid in this movie, or that Darkseid is a villain that's coming or happening, because I don't think they know if they're going to ever get there.
Right, no, exactly.
At least with the way it looks now.
Yeah.
But going back to talk about this cast, right? We talked about Ezra Miller's Flash. I think everyone agrees he's the standout of the movie. Yeah, he's fun. He's just perfect casting. I love him. And
I will say from him being my least favorite part of Fantastic Beasts, he's my favorite part of this. So it's a nice.
He actually felt like they gave everyone these small little character arcs, but his is the one that I think out of the new people, out of basically Cyborg, Aquaman, and Flash, that I think connected with me the most. I think they all needed one more scene of development somehow in the beginning. Not much, just literally. I think they all needed 2 more minutes in the beginning. That's all they really need to flesh out some things. And the Flash's stuff with his father, played by Billy Crudup, of course, who is what's the blue guy's name?
Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan in Watchmen, and obviously so many other great films. But that's how he knows Zack Snyder. That scene, that was a Zack Snyder scene in this movie, because the whole 2 director thing people were talking about, was great. I thought. I really thought that sold Barry's motivation. I felt the relationship between his father. I almost wanted to cry in those 90 seconds. I was like, damn, this is really, really good.
It's heavy, yeah.
And then his arc throughout the thing, I thought was the most touching. Just the idea of and they played with comedy, but when Batman has to say what he doesn't know what to do in battle, and they play that for a laugh at first, but then you're like, what's his reason? And it's because it's scared, but it's really because he doesn't know what to do almost. And Batman's reasoning to tell him, which is
save someone, save one person, and that will show you, he doesn't say it in so many words, but that'll show you why it feels so good to be a hero. His sense of humor, or the humor around him, makes up significantly for the heaviness of everything else that's going on or has come before.
I don't think everything with the Flash hits. I think they kind of overuse him a bit. I think about 3/4 of the thing he says hit, and that's great, but one too many times.
And there is a Flash origin movie buried within this movie.
Yes.
And
I almost felt like they could have had this be a movie that's almost a Flash origin movie that ends up becoming it's following a kid becoming part of the Justice League. But the Flash, I think we agreed, was kind of the best, and he has a story arc throughout. And they make him kind of more very naturally the saver, right? The guy who's supposed to go grab people and get him out of the distance, right? Which is the Quicksilver role in Age of Ultron. But and then we have Aquaman,
right?
Jason Momoa, and we're getting an Aquaman movie next year, directed by James Wan.
That's right. I'm interested to see that. I don't know.
I'm interested to see that, but here's my big thing.
Yeah.
I cannot sit through a movie that is 2 hours full of fucking just 75% of the frame being bubbles.
Water.
Bubbles, 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 bubbles.
I couldn't see.
I literally couldn't know what the fuck was going on. I just saw bubbles everywhere.
No clue of a sense of space or anything like that. It was just like a tower that they were fighting within, and it didn't make any
murky green. I mean, I get that,
and everybody's green as well.
It looks like I put goggles, and I went into the Pacific Ocean, opened my eyes, and I saw kelp in front of me.
Pretty much. Ooh, neat.
So I really hope that Aquaman does not look like that.
Yeah.
But I did read that I don't know if it's in the movie, but I read, I don't know if it's true, that some of the Aquaman shit in this movie is shot by James Wan, and that scares me. I like James Wan, but oh man, I hope Aquaman I told you 2 hours of that, not good.
Did you notice they only used 2 songs, three if you include the credits song, that were pop-ish songs, and that was the one when he's jumping back in the ocean was they used Icky Thump by White Stripes, and it gave me PTSD from all of the pop music that they used in Suicide Squad. It just took me out of it. What did you think about that? It's a badass scene.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
It didn't really fit, but because they didn't do it as often, and because again, I'm just my brain was off to 0 on this movie.
Sure.
I'm literally just go through it quick and make it entertaining.
Sure.
No matter what you have to do, and this movie is awkward and clunky in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell there's 2 directors at hand. And we'll get into that. Yeah. I'm trying to be positive for once
totally.
here.
No, I am too. But it's hard for me apparently.
But I guess I just like that song so much. And I'm not a big rock guy, but I heard that song and with the water come up, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you earned it.
Yeah.
Rather than overusing it. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. But Aquaman, I wish we got more of the Bruce Wayne kind of like getting there, doing that. But I do like the idea of Aquaman, like, but they don't really go into it. Like, what he's kind of just
he saves that one town,
and
he just hangs out and drinks.
And him and Bruce don't really. I mean, he puts them against the wall, and they're just talking. But it's fine. You got to get to it. But what bothers me about it is it's all this nice, pretty on location shots.
Yeah.
And then this happens a lot in the movie, and it's like, here's the scene. And then it's like, here's a reshoot scene.
We wanted to do a tag.
So so all of a sudden there's a green screen shot. It's like we're in the water in Alaska or wherever the hell we're shooting in some bay.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, nope, now it's Bruce on a green screen for a moment because we had to make up this shot. And it happens throughout the whole movie. Like every scene, no matter where it is, there's a couple shots that are just completely composited in, and you can tell.
Can I ask you something? You're more of a camera, visual type of studier of things. You remember back in the day when they would like actually use paint to make backgrounds and stuff?
Matte painting.
Matte painting, yes, exactly. How? I mean, they have big-ass inkjet printers.
Yeah.
How bad versus CGI would it be to have matte paintings in the background, do you think?
When you look at a movie on Blu-ray, it doesn't matter. But the problem with today is I feel like a matte painting would be fine. You think that, it looks great. The tough thing is, I haven't seen it. These movies are getting mastered in such high resolution these days that it's getting harder. And the problem, but I think
be like, that's all flat.
It's the digital shooting of it, but I feel like it could still work because there's still great shots, like in movies like The Mummy or even some of the Pirates movies. There's like a couple matte paintings, and you don't really like when they go in the treasure room in The Mummy, that's a matte painting, not CGI. And, it looks great, I think.
Absolutely.
And tons of movies do that, and I think there's a tactical feeling to it that looks great. But the problem with all these movies today is I think it's the lighting that just looks. You can tell they're not in a physical space.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that gets overdone in these movies. But I want to go back to all the characters. We have one more. We have Cyborg.
Cyborg, yes.
So what do you think of Cyborg?
I really like Cyborg. I think he brought an outsider and surprisingly a different brooding type of person than Superman or Batman represented in the first in what do I say, the first Batman versus Superman. I was disappointed in his, if nothing else, I liked his portrayal. I didn't like his reveal. In the beginning of this movie, Bruce is hunting down, not hunting, but looking for heroes to recruit, and he clearly states, Victor Stone, deceased. Then his father, actually played by Joe Morton.
Miles Dyson.
Yes, Miles. Dyson.
That's all I call him every single time I see a movie. Like Miles Dyson.
No, he's a fantastic actor. Outside of
I love
both
seeing
of
him
those.
in it. Yeah.
So Silas Stone is going home from his working at Star Labs, and a guy mopping the floor says, "Oh man, I'm sorry for your tragedy. Haven't gotten to tell you about it." And then he's like, "Oh yes, well." So as an audience, you're led to believe, you're like, oh, there was this tragedy, and granted, you've seen the trailer, so you know that Cyborg's in it.
Yeah.
But if you're going along in this with the emotion that they want you to be having for this situation, you go home and he opens the door and he's just standing there by the window being like, "Hey, Dad." "Oh, hey, son." There's no like, if we had 15 more minutes in this movie, we have him come home, put down his coat, look. There's pan across a picture of him and his son or something like that, and you feel a sense of loss, and then it goes over and you see him standing there, and then you get a little bit of a reveal.
15 seconds.
Why not? Yeah,
just to mix it a little bit better.
Exactly.
And it's little stuff like that the whole movie in general feels like it's missing. Like not even full scenes. It's just literally seconds off everything. Now, the two main guys we should talk about, obviously. I mean, Superman we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But we got Batman and we got Wonder Woman, who are essentially the dynamic duo up in this movie.
It's apparently so, yeah.
And I'm all for it. And, as much as I have to say, unfortunately, both of them are not at their best in this movie and compared to their previous portrayals in it. I don't want them. I do like them both, and I mean, I know Ben Affleck's probably going, and he's probably not coming back.
Right.
But I would love to see him come back, and I do like that finally, because that's what I hated in Batman vs Superman. At the end of the movie, what the fuck did Batman do? Nothing, and he makes no plan. Like literally, his pointless character.
And he's supposed to be this overly, like, not only physically strong, but he's a detective. He's a smart, planning, calculating dude.
And we saw that a lot more in this one. Not only because he hunts them down, you got the detective aspect with Alfred, but just him trying to make the plans and trying to be a pseudo leader. And I actually like again, we can't dive into it enough, and they try to just remember, let's not try to piss people off. So let's just run through it as fast as possible.
Sure.
The whole theme of him,
being a reluctant leader.
Yeah, trying to stand up after Superman because he realizes, and I get exactly, like, Batman Superman I don't like, but I like the idea of it, and I get why Zack wanted to do that to get in this movie, because I think it is far more interesting as a film having Superman not in the first 2/3 and having Batman try to get Wonder Woman, everybody on board to try to get them. I think it's a great thing about Batman.
It's like they were referring to events in this movie that didn't actually happen or play out the way we saw them in Batman versus Superman. That's why I think they did that video with the kid filming Superman on the thing.
That's a reshoot. There has never been more of a feeling of that is Superman in these movies. For me, really? I was like, oh my God, he's sort of humble and positive. Wise.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes. Humble and positive, and I was just like, yes.
No,
why could not he? I know that he's struggling with things, but be a chipper struggler.
Yeah.
That's how I wanted him to be portrayed in the last two movies.
Yeah.
I
will agree with you there. No, his performance in that was great.
Yeah.
I actually did really like that. Is Superman.
Yes.
But what I didn't like about it is he doesn't answer the kid's question, right?
Right.
But then what you need to do then is the kid's question needs to be an obvious question that is a general thing that is kind of a summarization of the movie, and it needs to be big enough point that we feel as an audience when he comes back, when he says something, oh, that question was answered. Like, not you don't have to go back to the video, but there has to be a moment where Superman, there's a decision made where you feel like that is the answer to that question. But the question was kind of ambiguous, so there's no real answer.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if there was like almost a definitive question, but for some reason Superman couldn't quite answer.
Yeah.
And then it had to take him reborn to learn this answer.
And it turns out like, oh, it's truth.
Yes.
That was the answer, was truth or justice or whatever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That
would have been cool.
It's just that extra little layer, I feel like, again, because I feel like they made a movie and then we're like, wait, this is half the movie we want, but there's this other thing we can do that will make it better, and they didn't really have time, or it's hard to do. It's not easy to make a movie and then try to remake half of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, go
Wonder
ahead.
Woman, I just wanted to say we had to talk about real quick, too.
Gosh, yeah. So, does that happen before or after Bruce Wayne baiting, or Batman baiting the parademon?
I think Batman baits the parademon, and then
parademon.
Okay,
cool.
And then it's the Wonder Woman.
I just really like that scene.
Which one?
The parademon baiting and him fighting him. And
I'm iffy. I like half of it. I like this. I like the idea of the scene.
Yes.
The way it's shot, it's like almost there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I hate, and I hate the dude who's the acting.
Oh,
the
yeah.
other guy.
Who was
Like,
that
kills
guy?
the scene. I did a bunch
I
of
don't know.
stuff.
Yeah, me too.
But I guess going back, we're going to get to one after this.
Go.
Now we're
Yeah.
going to tangent. But
Sorry.
This whole movie, the side actors, like the people in the Wonder Woman scene too, the bank robbers and the guy and the parademon guy, they don't feel right. They feel just a little too hammy, too on the nose. Their lines, it's too truncated. Whatever it is, the non principles just feel off in the movie.
And they are almost told that they are principals. Is that what?
Maybe that's what it is.
Their acting is to the level of the other people, so they're not like proper background actors.
And it's also just hearing like a flat person character, like, this is the criminal, he's stealing stuff, and everyone's away from Batman. Now he holds him, he's just like,
what happened?
Oh, it's like, because Superman's gone. Like, I know he didn't say it like that, but it was like, that's I
hated that line regardless.
I like the idea if Batman heard that somehow, but not in that situation, not in that way, not by that guy on that roof, not with that cadence, like all of those things. Like, and this thing that bothers me more than most people, I'm anal about those things.
Okay.
Because I want to be a director and do that stuff. So there's sometimes I don't blame the actors ever. I always just feel like there's another take, or I would have kept finding it, or it's not quite the right way. I would have wanted it to get out. So a lot of these one-liners just feel kind of off to me.
Yeah.
But so the Wonder Woman scene with the bank robbers. So now we're there.
Yes. it was very odd to me. I mean, it was a very cool Wonder Woman scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because she can almost move as fast as the Flash, which we really didn't see.
Yeah, the power levels are really confusing.
It's
in
very
this movie.
odd. Yeah. She busts in. Apparently, she's been hiding the fact that she is a superhero for 100 years. Like, she helps out.
Well, that's
with
what
stuff,
she mentioned in Batman vs Superman, right?
Yeah.
That it was the first. That Batman vs Superman was the first time she's come out.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember, since
that's true.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
so she is sort of ramping up a bit of her superheroing, but heroining, and I don't understand the purpose of the bad guys in this. They have no. I guess we're supposed to see that the world is going to crap.
Yeah, it's just the idea. It's just jumping into seeing heroes doing stuff.
Of course, of course.
We didn't do much background information, but they didn't give us just enough of the side story to see, like, we just need those extra, again, 15, 20 seconds with the villain, like, or the fake villain, just the villain of that scene.
Right, yeah.
Like, you hear him, the 2 final lines in the van, and then he steps out, or something like that. Or you get a little sense just by what he says on the phone, and so you know the plot, you know what she has to stop.
Each scene seems so plugged in.
Yes.
Rather than leading from one scene to the next, being like, oh, I get the flow of this.
Exactly.
This is all organic.
Okay.
Also, she's just standing on... I mean, I understand that we never know why Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman or anybody is in the right place at the right time, but I would have loved to...
Because they're Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman.
Sure. But she's just standing up there with a cool shot on that statue, and then she jumps in and she but again... she didn't come from anywhere.
Yeah.
She didn't see it happening and then change or whatever.
And this is stuff I've read, but I heard that, the scenes feel like they've been moved around a few times almost.
Yeah.
I know, because the thing about that scene to me, that's always been there. That was in the teaser or whatever. That's a Snyder scene.
Of course.
But it feels like a reshoot scene to me almost. I feel like that Wonder Woman scene, I get why you need to have it. You need the opening action bit. You want that
kicking ass.
Her kicking ass.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman was a big hit. But
which she does.
I
She's
would have
freaking awesome.
rather have taken that time. I don't think we needed to get introduced to Wonder Woman that way. Batman's the lead, right? So Batman's got to reach out and get everybody.
Sure.
We have to reestablish her, show what she's doing. But I would have wanted to see one more scene with Steppenwolf instead there. Like the movie starts out, what's the movie start out doing? The movie should start, and then it's Batman getting the team together and Steppenwolf already on the way.
Yeah.
Right? So anything else is like, we want to see what Wonder Woman's doing, but it kind of got too big to just be a catch-up scene, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
But her blocking the bullets was cool.
Super cool. Yeah, exactly. And like I say, she has... if she can see the bullets that fast, she is comparable to the Flash.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
But Superman's comparable to the Flash in some way,
true,
so I guess
true.
that's
so we're all,
kind of thing.
But I guess when Flash gets faster, he gets more powerful, and he has the Speed Force which is a whole different thing than just moving fast.
Yeah, and he's still learning. It's his first movie, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But again, you can add, if we didn't have that 5-6 minute scene, you could add to the other people's story that have not gotten a full movie to explain who Wonder Woman is. Because if you see Justice League, you definitely probably saw Wonder Woman.
I don't think there's a single person in the theater. Like, Wonder Woman's not the same. Wonder Woman, there's people who saw Wonder Woman who didn't see any other DCU movies.
Everyone saw it.
But there's not a single person alive who's going to Justice League who didn't see Wonder Woman.
Agreed.
So, there's that trade-off there. But the thing people forget, too, is, especially when you write movies, make movies, or when you really study, you forget how short scenes are.
Oh,
like when you like to think in your head, oh, that's a 5-6 minute scene. No, most conversations are 2 minutes in movies.
Yeah.
Like most scenes are 2.5, 3 pages max.
If it's not an indie movie.
And there's a couple scenes that are always 4 or 5 longer, but those are broken up into multiple scenes. There's a lot of characters
sometimes
usually.
Multiple people. Yeah,
but when 2 people talk, it's usually never longer than 2 minutes at a time. So it's like, you really would take that Wonder Woman scene out. You could have given us you could have given us a 3-minute Steppenwolf scene and 2 90-second scenes with, with
or
Flash
just extended
or Cyborg.
A couple, like fleshed out some scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The movie itself is 2 hours flat. With credits, I think. I think it should have been 2 hours without credits. That's fine. I think it just needs 10 minutes of breathing room. And I guess that's really the main kind of... I mean, there's a lot of flaws in it, but that's like... in the broadest strokes, I think what the movie was lacking. But we're going to end up comparing this a lot to the Avengers.
Unfortunately,
and it does a lot of things like the Avengers, but it ends up just doing them just half-assed. I mean, it really feels like a half-assed approach.
The sad part about this is that they reverse engineered it in the way that they introduced everybody as a team first, and now they're going to split off and haphazardly introduce us to their worlds.
Yeah.
Where we had already met every single character of the Avengers, and they got their own things to lead into a good team movie.
Yeah.
Rather than going through they went through growing pains, but they also didn't have to establish everybody's origins.
But see, I don't think that's even like the problem. Like the flaw of Justice League is not them having to do that. It's like how it's done. Like it's not
you're
that
right.
like like the Flash work. Like again, if the movie was great and just 15 minutes longer and did that, it's a possibility to do that. But you were talking earlier about dynamic flow, right, and storytelling progression or like editing or something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, in Avengers, and even if they're by accident, you have these. It still be planned. They talk about needing a soldier, and what does it cut to? Captain America boxing.
Yeah.
Here's the theme, right? They mention underwater, and what does it cut to? Iron Man underwater.
Sure.
There's these linking cuts but the movie is progressing forward in a way, but it's giving it these little bits of time. So like in Avengers, going to the same aspect, it cuts into Tony Stark, and he delivers a line or two. Finishes fixing what he's doing, and then flies out. This version of the movie is like cutting to him flying out of the water. Every scene, it's like it's cutting those little character beats. Because the thing is, the movie does work to an extent when the characters are, conversating.
I agree that the interaction is the crown jewel of this. I don't know.
I think the main thing we should also talk about is just the awful villain. I mean, that's really what brings it down. I mean, this movie, not only the villain, just has less stakes than humanly possible, like in a weird way. I mean, we talk about Thor not having stakes, and this doesn't have stakes in the same way, but the difference is Thor's trying to be a comedy. This is trying to be that movie with the epic stakes.
Yeah. And
the plot is essentially Steppenwolf gets the 3 mother boxes, which I like I didn't really know the background, but I like the idea. Okay, yeah, everyone's got a mother box. That's cool. They had to team up. Fine.
It was a cool sequence, actually.
Yeah, I actually didn't mind that. That was the whole idea of what I didn't like about it was obviously the look of Steppenwolf and the over CGI. But again, the concept is cool, but the end of the movie, the plot is he's terraforming or something essentially again, which is basically the same thing as Man of Steel, which could be fine. But when a Justice League movie, and again, what the Avengers did, and what the Avengers 2 did, whether you like it or not, and what I'm pretty damn sure Avengers Infinity War is going to do, is that the Avengers movie needs to be the biggest fucking movie of the phase.
Right.
There needs to be the end all be all. This is this is Justice League. This is supposed to be the biggest movie ever made.
Yeah.
This is like you need, whatever is coming, you need not only Batman, you need the Flash, you need Cyborg, and you need Wonder Woman, right? And you need Aquaman. And guess what? They're not even close to enough. You need to resurrect Superman from the dead. That's the only possible way. That's your last possible outcome. You're down and out so much. That's your only option to save the world and mankind. But, okay. That doesn't feel that. It's just kind of there. And Man of Steel has more stakes at the end of this movie. Yeah. Even Batman vs. Superman, when they're fighting in a bull pit. At the final fight, I feel like when they're actually fighting Doomsday, I guess it's a little more weight to that, even if it's awful.
Yeah.
And not as fun.
No, yeah.
But it's
it seems like the world's going to end.
There is still a little bit more like, oh no to it.
Sure. Yeah.
And this is just kind of like, maybe it's kind of, do I not care about Russia? Is that my problem? I don't know. But
no, but it's
in the middle of nowhere.
It's so by the numbers of a bad guy plan, a bad guy plot. Also, the fact that they have to bring Superman back. The fight in underneath the water where they fight Steppenwolf first does not feel like it is a knockdown, drag out, everybody is beaten and halfway to death.
No.
Because that is why you bring Superman back.
Of course.
Because if you just say, well, we didn't really plan this out, but maybe next time we fight him, we have a better plan, and I get a bigger robot, we will beat him. No, make everybody almost like you realize the limitations of your power, and we need a bigger, better, badder dude.
That's just filmmaking 101. I mean, you say you can't compare things, but they're all the same fucking plot. In Avengers Age of Ultron, what happens? They go to Africa. Ultron kicks their fucking ass. And I'm not saying that's the most amazing thing in the world, but I do like Age of Ultron more than this movie. I think clearly Age of Ultron is a better movie than this.
Yeah.
But, you know, Hulk fights Thor, or I mean, Hulk fights Iron Man and the Hulkbusters thing. Yeah. And then when you see their reaction, though, they are down and out.
Yes.
Like, there is no music. They are silent. They are depressed. They don't know what to do. They are lost. Ultron to take over. And they have to go to this farm and do nothing for 20 minutes because that's the only way to save the world.
Because they're
is
tired.
To be depressed for a minute. But at least they like you feel that they're down and out, and you feel that they feel defeated, and they don't think at that time they don't know how they can beat him, and they don't have to come and get. What do they need to beat him? They need to resurrect the Vision, who's kind of like Superman. Hey, isn't that kind of funny?
Hey, look at you.
It's a pretty damn similar plot. But guess what? It's completely done better in that movie with more pathos.
Yes.
I guess you could say.
Ethos,
this is, again,
pathos,
ethos. I don't know which one's which. I just know one of the two.
It's always confused me, too.
You know, I didn't go to school for it. But, yeah, this is, again, the truncated version of that, and it just streamed past it, and it's like it's so easy. Like, there's no even going to the end of the movie, talking the same issue with Avengers. Avengers, that's the best thing about Avengers. That's why Avengers is so great. Avengers, if you want to talk about movies where, and there's a lot of them, but like shit, the aliens are invading, or whatever, the world is getting destroyed. We have to. There's a final battle type of thing situation. The last 35 minutes of Avengers is the best version of that, and it's perfectly structured, perfectly placed. It's got a nice 5-act structure, the ups and the downs of it. You know, let me see if I can remember right. So they start the fight, they're doing well, they start to win. The second, then they start losing. Then it gets. The first wave attacks, right? And they think it's that, and then more come out, and they realize they can't. They're like, oh, we're getting screwed.
The massive
snake things come down. So then it's down and out, second act, and then what's the third act? Oh, the Hulk comes back, and I'm gonna come fight, and now we're kicking ass, and we're destroying everything. Act number 4, we had the money shot in 3. 4, it doesn't matter. We're still losing. It's endless.
And
we can't do anything.
Launching a freaking nuke at us.
Yeah, 5, we have to stop this nuclear warhead and still save the day, right? 5-act structure, up and down, but you feel the ups and downs. You really feel. In this movie, it's like the final action. It's like it almost feels like a big montage third act. There's no real like reason for anything.
No.
What is their goal? What are they trying to achieve? They're trying to separate the boxes. Okay, but
that's it.
That's it. But again, in Avengers, I don't stop comparing the same thing, but I am. There's more stakes because I see actually people needing to get out and needing to way.
Well, no, we got that Russian family.
Yes, that Russian family, and one wide shot where they're running to the car. You see other people running too.
I guess.
And he moved
a building,
which my friend next to me said was hilarious. He said the first thing I thought of when I saw that building was, "That's great, you're moving a building, but you know it's empty, right?"
Wait, I thought these were the people. I'm still really dumb in the head. I haven't quite come back from everything.
But they have a job. Okay, right? Yeah. What does Thor have to do? Thor has to plug up the tunnel. I mean, the what do you call it? The fucking sky beam.
Whatever, yeah,
right?
Exactly.
He's got to plug that up.
Sure.
Iron Man, you turn anything back that's gone 30 blocks or less.
Right.
We're keeping the ground fight over here. Hulk, smash. Boom. Look at that. We all have a reason. We all have a job. And the audience knows what everyone's goal is. What the fuck is everyone's goal in this movie? Smash. Like, that's literally it.
Yeah. Oh, God. So I want to jump back to Superman's resurrection, because in the trailers, and we talked about this, that it's probably because it was going to be 2 movies instead of 1, right?
Yes. Originally.
But we see this thing where well, first of all, go back to the end of Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
The dirt rising off the grave, that means that there's something supernatural, or he is not dead, or some sort of energy within him. Okay, well
that's gone.
We find out that in this one, no, he's just a dead body. He's just dead. They're grave robbing. They pull him up out of the thing. They throw him in the soup again, which I thought we were done with that goddamn alien ship. Are you kidding me?
Going back to the ship.
It's nothing changes in this world. But, you know, timeline, whatever. It makes sense, I guess. But then it just seems so unceremonious, so not mystical or surprising, or it's just so, again, by the numbers, just being like, well, I guess we have to try to, you know, throw him in that soup, and then you got to electrocute this thing, and this thing is going to bring him back to life, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that going to work, right? I've studied all of this stuff, and Cyborg is made out of it, so he says yes. Cyborg was such a shortcut story-wise to be like, yeah, this will work.
He got the short end of the stick, kind
Well,
of.
he's the hacker.
Yeah.
In this whole thing, he's just the dude who sits behind the thing and says, "Hey, this is what you do."
But he's got a cannon, too.
But he's got a cannon, which is pretty cool. I will say also that in the logic of clearly something else was cut out when Superman comes back to life and all of the strong people run over and try to subdue him.
You mean superheroes?
All the superheroes.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say Batman. He would have to grapple over. It'll take a while to get to him.
Okay.
Why didn't Batman stay back and be like, oh, right, the third box, the thing that this big bad guy wants,
right.
We're just gonna leave that. And
on top of some slush car,
right? And what is Batman gonna do against Superman anyway? Yeah, he did pretty well in the last movie, but he had that metal suit, which we're giving up on. He's just a Apparently, we're upgrading to a big.
We already used that visual gag in the last movie.
Okay.
AJ. We can't use it again.
Or otherwise, he's Iron Man.
Yes,
which is just awkward for everybody.
Well, I'm sure if Iron Man was in the movie, it would have made more money. Sad to say, but every single movie that has Iron Man in it,
look at Spider-Man,
including Spider-Man, including Captain America: Civil War.
Man, they really should cross over.
Did
DC
more money
MCU
than this?
Oh man.
Oh, well.
So no, but then he comes back, and he's out of it.
I guess
he's done. He's lost his memory.
He just needs to get a little his head snapped back in. Listen,
of course.
And I was telling you this. You're a comic fan. You're a super nerd.
I am. Clearly.
I have never read any of these comics.
Okay.
For the Justice League,
Sure.
I've seen the Justice League animated show because I was a child.
Right.
But I mean, I'm just kind of dumbfounded by it. You've had this whole build up with him dying, and I get why you do it.
Sure.
If this is your cinematic universe, right?
Yeah.
And they already set up with the whole they completely dropped the Flash coming back and Lois and reversing time.
Right. Flashpoint.
If this is all the fuck we get of Bizarro in the universe,
black-suited Superman,
Superman in the DCEU,
sure,
that is the lamest shit ever.
Right.
I mean, so basically, what I'm assuming here was, based off Batman vs Superman, was there was supposed to be 2 movies originally when they were making Batman vs Superman. They had planned for 2 Justice League films and 2 scripts.
To bring him back, the next movie it's so.
Well, I think he was going to come back, but I think the whole thing was they were going to have to. Flash was going to have to eventually. They were going to Flashpoint in the Justice League, kind of right, where he was going to have to go back in time, and he warned him, right, because
of course
he's going to. They were going to have to revive him, and then he was going to come back bad, and then they were going to have to come back for a second Justice League movie.
And they were going to have to fight him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Like the end of the movie, it was going to be. I was thinking it was going to be like Steppenwolf and Superman,
exactly,
maybe fighting the Justice League, and they had to stop. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe that would.
No, I mean that would have.
But I get why they wanted him again, streamlined, to come back in and be good. But the thing about that is, he's good. I'm glad he's back, and he's very Superman-y. I'm
so much more Superman-y.
But he just fucking destroys everyone so easy at the end. That when he comes, it's like I was like when he started fighting, I'm like, wait, why am I even watching this anymore? Because now it's just like Superman can end this at any point.
Yeah, and I mean, well, that goes into the why doesn't everybody fight together all the time? In the shared universe type things, why don't they call in Iron Man for the
no, but it's their job to put like any sort of dramatic stakes into it whatsoever.
Oh yeah, of course. But in this, you're right. Like he's the end all be all. If he can, I mean, was it a really a team effort in this situation?
Well, they weren't, back to it, if we're talking about Avengers, they weren't down and out enough, as we keep saying. They had to be more down and out, and then he comes back. Then again, comparing it to other movies, and I'm sorry, that's what you can do, and that's how you can tell it's not as good as it should be. Let's think about plenty of movies do this, but let's think about Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
All right. there's this big lightsaber battle, and Finn is fighting Kylo Ren, and he gets his back sliced, and the lightsaber goes over there, and then Kylo goes to get the lightsaber, and it's shaking, and you're thinking, it's going to Kylo, or is it going to Luke? Who's it going to, right? And then all of a sudden, it goes to Rey, and the music hits, and when Rey grabs that lightsaber, you're like, holy fucking shit,
that's amazing!
It's Rey! It's like the best moment in the fucking movie, and no one denies. It's a cheer. It's like, fuck yes! And when Superman comes back, it's like, yay! Superman's back. It's like, that moment when Superman comes back needs to hit you as hard, at least, as when Rey comes back in Force Awakens. And there's no reason it shouldn't.
Well, that's why I'm frustrated.
No reason.
That we knew he was back. Because there's the...
we knew Rey's in the whole movie, and that's still a powerful moment, so it's like he could still do it.
Of course. But, if we see in the trailers where Alfred says, he told me you'd come. There's
which I heard was cut really, really early. Like, that was actually like people were mad, like,
really,
because they actually put that, like, it was one of the first things cut, and they were like, we're gonna keep it in all the trailers.
Well, it is a great
trailer line.
It's a great trailer line, and it's a great misdirect because for people like you and me who study these trailers and just have them, sadly, even after the first viewing, etched into our minds, it allows us to be surprised by something. But then if the surprise isn't as good as you built up in your mind to be like, oh, well, if they use that, then he came back due to magic or something like that, and then he makes an appearance and saves everybody while they're almost about to be killed. You never feel like anybody's going to be killed. Like Batman says, oh, I'm bleeding somewhere, after he was held by the face by Superman, the strongest man in the world, who could have crushed his head.
Going back to Star Wars again, not The Force Awakens. Star Wars.
Okay.
Han Solo comes and saves fucking Luke's ass and shoots and gets Darth Vader shoots him. He spins out of control, letting Luke shoot it and blow up the Death Star.
Exactly.
And
you thought he was gone, and now he's back.
And that moment is better than the moment Superman comes back in this movie, too.
Sure.
And do I like Star Wars a lot more?
I think
I'm a Star Wars diehard purist, and I'm definitely a Star Wars fanboy.
You're wearing a Star Wars shirt right now.
I am wearing a Star Wars shirt right now. But it's done better in both those movies. Step up your game.
Yeah, exactly.
Step up your game.
Exactly.
You're making a $300 million movie, for God's
sakes.
Put
some stakes in it. Why are the lines and why are the actual storyline the last things to be thought of in these movies? It feels so like people see these great visuals in their heads, or they're just like, oh, it'd be really cool is if this guy said this to this guy, and that'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
And then they just find a way to shoehorn it into a bad or just a clumped together story. It's just it's sad, and it's there were some lines in this that just there's some great lines. I will say there are some great jokes, some great lines, some very powerful things that some very good actors deliver. But then there are lines that I can't even remember what they are because they just physically made me cringe when they were spoken by these actors, and it was just like, that's impossible for any human to say. I mean, sadly, I think I've seen them written in comic books and been like, yeah, that's good. Yeah. That's actually great. But it just doesn't translate sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. It's not an easy thing to do to sell these lines. I mean, that is one of the hardest things ever. It's the line between being great and shitty is like paper thin, too.
So much.
But yeah, overall, I guess in the one-liners, overall they mostly hit, but there was definitely about a fourth of them didn't land. Performance-wise, going through them, I also wanted to talk back about AquaMan just in general. I loved the Wonder Woman Aquaman moment where his foot or whatever was wrapped around the lasso or was on the lasso.
He was like sitting on the lasso.
Yeah, and he was like telling the truth.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great gag. Brilliant. I thought that was hilarious. I thought it worked perfectly because at first you really do think you buy into it. That's why it works. You think he's opening up, and it's this. And, I don't know. I love
Momoa's a much better actor than I even expected because what I've seen of him in, say, Game of Thrones, where he doesn't speak English, and he's a big hulking guy. I didn't know his range, but he did well.
I saw him in that, and I saw him Bullet to the Head with Sylvester Stallone.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Also not a good example.
Okay, good.
So I was surprised in that, but also I feel bad at how poorly Amber Heard did in this movie.
Yeah,
as Mira or whatever her name is.
Mira, yeah. Well, she plays his future love interest. And
they were in a water bubble talking.
I mean,
I hope again the whole movie's not in water bubbles next
time. All right. She doesn't get anything to do.
No, she's just setting there to set the movie, and she's giving him some motivation, which is fine. I'm okay with your little scene. Civil War, sometimes some moments like that.
Yeah.
But what was she going for? I couldn't understand a word she was saying. What was her accent?
Oh yeah.
She was like she was reading cue cards. I don't know. She was pretty flat, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It was pretty cringe.
There are some of those. Again, there are some of those scenes that just seem plastered in there. Like, remember the scene between Martha, and and Lois, where it comes down from
the worst looking newscast in the history of the world.
What was that? That was like something that was cut from Mad TV
or Inhumans
or Inhumans. Oh my god. But yeah, and it goes down there, and it's sort of
that's a Josh Whedon scene. It's so boringly shot. The plainest wall.
Yeah.
There's two shot and there's solos. Just the lenses.
Shoot this in the break room and show some. We just have to remind people
cheap
that
episode of Buffy the Vampire
these
Slayer.
people are still in the movie. We're gonna set up the fact that Bruce buys the bank at the end because the foreclosure happened, which adds absolutely nothing. He goes back to the farm.
Yeah.
Superman goes back to the farm with Lois, and it's not like it's foreclosed, and it's not like the fact that it was foreclosed made any difference in that situation.
And now you're reminding me of the worst part of the movie. The one part I say, Batman vs Superman, I got physically angry a lot.
Yeah.
It annoyed me. I'm like, why is this thing here? Why is this there? Why move these around? This time I got physically fucking mad when that right in the movie that montage music, whatever that pop song was in the beginning or custom made, I don't know what was going on.
So it was called Everybody Knows. Okay. Apparently.
It was the worst song I've ever heard in my life.
It was so on the nose.
It talks about like foreclosing and hard times, and then like there's literally an 8-second hold on like Martha Kent's house, like foreclosed or something. It's like hard times getting through this. Like, okay,
it's like we get that it says foreclosed. First of all, tell another story.
Every movie since the recession is just has to be fucking. I mean, I'm not saying it's not true. No, I don't need to be like on because it's just when you're just making these movies, you're just hitting the 1-2 lines you feel you need to hit. Yeah. So if you can't dive into it, you just feel like you're baiting it, and it's just like okay. I rolled my eyes like the whole time.
That whole thing was every single line of the song was just like, and kittens die and people are sad.
Yeah.
And it was over these overly dramatic, just saying that the world was going to shit. Mm-hmm. Like, the world is already going to shit. It didn't need Superman to die to have that happen.
Yeah.
And we're just saying that, well, without him, there's literally no hope. Nobody is doing anything to improve the world in any way. He apparently didn't leave any type of legacy to be like, you know what, we are going to be better. No, it's making the world crumble. There's racism and sexism and angry people kicking oranges. I mean,
did you set me up there on purpose?
Maybe.
You done with your point? Can I go into the oranges over here?
All right. Please, that was it.
I was just joking earlier, but like, okay, the slow-mo oranges is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Because like I've seen Viagra commercials, I've seen dialysis commercials, I've worked on arthritis commercials, I've been on these, I gotta take pills to be able to go to the county fair. I've done those things. I've seen them. I watch a lot of them.
I've got to take pills to sit in a bathtub next to my wife in another bathtub.
Slow-mo, I'm aching, I'm slipping, and falling. Like, this is the cheesiest shit I've ever seen. Like,
so weird.
Slow-mo cameras are not impressive. You can, there's boomerangs on phone these days. You got Snapchats, you got slow-mo. Like, shooting slow-mo, I mean, you can be cool, like any tool, and it's a filmmaking tool.
Sure. Yeah.
Showing oranges going up and down in slow-mo is the stupidest fucking thing ever, and it belongs in a commercial. It belongs with 65-year-old men who are balding,
and tripping over
bananas. And it also just remind me for a brief second of like how cool Inception is.
Okay,
and like why Inception is 80 gazillion times better. Like there's how much details in the frame in Inception,
so much,
how many things are, how perfect does it look? And then I'm just looking at this overlit, boring orange scene, and it just, yeah, I do. And the thing is, oranges are my favorite fruit.
I know, you eat them all the time.
Jesus.
And well, you'll never get scurvy, so that's good. You'll be fine with that. But it absolutely is. It's so ham-fisted. This insistence that we are in a horrible world, that we need to force into the person's face that, hey, guess what? You know what only superheroes can do? Save the world. And they, even the cops that are breaking this up, they're doing a shitty job of it. Sorry. I couldn't even, again, also, since Gotham and Metropolis are apparently next to each other.
There's a ferry ride away.
I can't tell where they are anymore. I don't know when they're in Gotham and when they're in Metropolis.
Did they make a point to ever care?
I don't think so.
I feel like the movie takes place in Gotham.
It definitely. Well, I think the lighter parts are
unless they're in
Metropolis.
Unless it looks like they're in New York City, Manhattan.
Right.
I think they're in Gotham.
Everything
I think that's
else
pretty
is
much
like
the
dark
decision.
and exactly. I mean, clearly there is some stipulation between usually Gotham is shot at night and Metropolis is during the day because they're that far apart in time zones. No, I'm
skipping all the way to the end, but I did like the end that the Wayne Manor is the Justice League, whatever the fuck they call it.
Place.
What do they call it?
The
League of Justice.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Or is that not? Anyways, I like that.
We'll say that.
Too bad I'm never gonna see this. And too bad it's never going to be the League of Justice because unless they do the Batman movie and like Ben Affleck meets Jake Gyllenhaal walking down an alleyway, it's like, hey, do you want to be?
What's your name? Is it Robin?
Do you want to be Nightwing? Okay.
It's the Hall of Justice. I forgot. Yes,
It's the Hall of
Justice. But yes, no, that's the thing is they haven't had to do much of that in the Marvel. They've only had to recast what's his name? Edward Norton
and Don Cheadle.
Jesus, yeah. But we did get a cameo by the original Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, we did,
which is kind of cool.
Who's that?
He's an old man playing a cop. He is later in the movie. They cut him back in. I think he's the one who is having the Flash sign in at the prison.
Okay,
I don't know.
I do want to talk about the music though. In the movie, because I always big music guy. Big story. They don't have Junkie XL is no longer doing it. It was Danny Elfman did the music.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the greatest. I mean, it was a Rush job. It was kind of generic and in certain ways, but it did have some of that classic musical orchestration in some ways.
Yeah,
and they did play the Batman theme.
He threw it in that one scene.
It was subtle.
Really cool.
He played it a handful of times, but it was very drowned out underneath the sound effects.
Of course.
But when I'm not gonna lie, I liked it.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And they had the Superman theme come in a little bit.
They did,
which was nice.
Which was super.
Super duper.
No, and it of course has the Wonder Woman theme. But that's the layering that you have to have. That's I feel like the lowest bar that you can have about music.
There wasn't like a Justice League theme though, like a solid like coming together thing, and I did like the come together music. I wish they actually maybe used it a little more actually in some way, not more.
They could have thrown that over the actual fight,
like if they had done the 5-act structure, and the 5th act of the 5-act of the battle fucking play come together as they're just kicking ass, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or going to a different thing structure, doing the Hacksaw Ridge thing.
Okay.
Right, so Hacksaw Ridge is a completely different style of movie, right? But they have the 2nd act, there's the huge, or maybe it's end of the 3rd act too, but the huge battle.
Of course.
And then after that, the ending battle actually is a montage. It's just a montage of him saving people, right?
Right.
And it's like that same kind of idea is like you get the idea, they're down and out, Superman came back, and now you realize we're gonna kick ass. There's no way they're gonna lose. And now we get just a 60-second montage of them just being the best superheroes possible.
Well, and
ending with maybe like a final, they all take them out, and then it ends with them all landing together in one shot or something. Fuck it, give it to me. Where was the 360 shot? You can't copy it, but you need to have the clip. I mean, they did the thing lowering, but
sure. But I also wanted there to be a little bit more teamwork, because it is a Justice League. It's about teamwork. It's all about that. When I saw when Barry speeds around and just flicks the sword back into Diana's hand, great, awesome. That was so cool. But nobody really, does a speedball special where Colossus throws Wolverine at somebody. I wanted there to be more of a cohesiveness. And I know that they're getting used to each other, but they're good enough heroes in all of their own rights. And also, Cyborg is just hanging out, separating the boxes. So what the hell? Yeah. But it all seems like they're all just attacking in their own ways. But I don't know.
Back to the Avengers thing. Like, well, that's the thing. Why didn't they make it like so? Cyborg's doing the boxes. Yeah. So then, like, someone should be protecting Cyborg. I mean, someone protect himself. So someone's mission is that. Flash's mission is to go around saving people. Like, I wish they had a certain more of a which
commanding thing.
But they had the options to. I mean, they had reasonings to. But I also want to talk about just the visualness of this movie. The movie's kind of bland, and compared to the other DCU movies, it maybe doesn't have as much fogginess in some moments. But the color grading, I think, is pretty bad in some moments. It bleeds out onto the costumes and stuff a little bit. And some of the green screen's awful. Like when they're in the cornfield, it is disastrously bad too. And when what's her face gets out the fucking car, Martha, I think, or was it Lois Lane later in the movie?
Yeah.
In that part,
her the big guns.
Yeah. Well, I think it was maybe Martha when she got out at the cornfield. Okay. Or it's the big gun part. Yeah. One of them, like the CG, like the green screen, it wasn't like the edges. It was like through the hair you could see the green screen still. That was
unforgivable.
Just kind of unforgivable. Yeah.
I will say one of the worst CGI parts with the initial fight with quote unquote evil Superman was when Barry was running around him. Yeah. And I thought that had, probably Joss Whedon, because to have Superman be so menacing with the eyes when he started looking
I think that was actually Zach.
Okay,
I read, I don't know if it's true, but I read that Zach's version Superman didn't talk, and all the talking Superman's Whedon makeup.
Okay, that makes sense. But I loved that thought of that he's never come up against anybody who can see him when he's in the Speed Force, and Superman can see him. That was the most intimidating part of that entire movie. I was like, oh my God, he's met his match, even if, obviously strength-wise, Superman could beat the hell out of him.
Of course.
But when he looks around and then he's
that was the X-Men Apocalypse moment too, when Quicksilver's running around and then finally Apocalypse takes notice type of thing. Yeah. But I really like Flash's power. Like I'm not a big fan of over CGI, but I actually liked the visual way it looked. I thought they captured it really well.
The Speed Force representation is beautiful.
I dug it.
Yeah.
I dig it. Dressed like a bat. I dig it.
I dig it.
I did like that line too.
He was a fun. You know what? It's not what I imagine.
No.
Aquaman is in any way. He just seems in the comic books he seems like a spoiled,
whitey tidy.
Yeah, he seems like a spoiled rich kid who rebelled and but
he's already on a store thing. He's been on Earth for he's been banished for not a week like Thor or a weekend. He's been banished for years.
It's been a while, and there are versions of him that are long haired, missing a hand.
Yeah, I think the newer version isn't the New 52. He's more like this.
I believe so. Yeah. And sometimes he has a water hand.
Okay,
it's crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I actually forgot that he could control water.
Well, obviously.
No, but control like that much of
I feel
water.
What you're saying. With the spear only, I think. With Trident.
Yeah. But that. I hate to jump back into the whole movie because we sort of are winding down, but this is mainly just a note in general. Now we're noting, $300 million movies. There are so many things that are just coincidental. Just the timing matters not at all. There's no ticking clock really. Like when Aquaman decides to show up, He just happens to show up in time to save the guys.
The other side of the world, for all we know.
Other side of the world. Who knows how he got there? Who knows how he found them?
The sewer system.
I guess, but didn't he come through the damn...
kidding.
He was in the harbor? I don't know. And then who knew why? Clearly there was something cut from the Superman fight, but I wish they had included a fight between... Like, he comes down, and rather than just scurrying off with the box... that he goes down there, says, "You're the only ones who could stop me, and I'm going to kill you." And then he just knocks him away with his hand, and he flies away with the box. Like, there was no reason, like, he should show up right then and find that box. There was no reason why he should wait that long to put the cubes together, because they were all preparing stuff. At the time when he was putting the cubes together, Superman was in the fields. So there was no ticking clock. There was nothing that was pushing the story forward.
They Transformed 5 to, like, Optimus Primed it. I've kind of heard some people say, like...
Yeah.
Because, like, he's in the fields, and then they're on the other side of the world fighting Steppenwolf, and then he just, like, shows up when he can.
Yeah.
Like, he literally was like... It's like he was like, hold on, I'll come. Just gotta, like, say what's up to my moms real quick. Grab some Kool-Aid, or you know, some Capri Suns.
Right.
Maybe grab an apple, string cheese, you know, some Fritos.
I gotta mow the lawn.
Yeah.
God, Mom won't let me leave.
Also, this is now a side thing.
Okay.
I don't know if I like AquaMan just shattering his glass alcohol bottle into the ocean and getting it washed up to sea.
Doesn't he care about the
like
environment?
And marine animals that could get cut or bit or swallow that.
Right?
Look like a pretty fucking shitty human being to me, AquaMan.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that?
Maybe,
like, what? Like, maybe you haven't learned to love the ocean yet, but I don't know. That seems pretty lame.
He's a bit resentful. He's a bit rebellious right now.
He'll
probably go out to, you know, in his reflective jumpsuit and, you know, pick up some trash along the side of the beach.
He couldn't have just thrown
to
it.
make it up for it, you know.
I mean, you guys, smashing it is cool, but
yeah.
But the ocean's his place.
Exactly.
Like, smash it on the shore.
Well, he kind of was still on the dock.
Yeah, but the waves were...
It would have washed it out immediately.
Just like, yeah, it was...
Yeah.
There was no excuse.
That shit just doesn't go back to sand immediately.
Yeah.
It has to go over years and years.
Oh, even if it goes back, you want some kid playing on the thing, just, hey, let's run. Fucking cut his foot.
Irresponsible.
Irresponsible. No, he does not deserve that. You know what? He doesn't deserve the power. I'm glad he was banned. He didn't deserve the power.
Nope.
He doesn't deserve the trident. He doesn't deserve to be Aquaman. I'm pissed. Now I'm angry. I can't believe I even enjoyed him a bit.
It's time to step up.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Come together.
Right now.
But as a moment, I did like, you know, again, although they feel like not completely earned anything in the movie. Nothing in the movie feels earned in a way, but it's like that's what should happen. That's how I can explain it. Like when Aquaman says it, I'm like, yay, that's what I want. That's the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's here. It doesn't feel earned, but that's what should happen.
Did they send a distress signal to him, and then he came, and then it was like, oh, that happens to be perfect timing because he just blew a hole in the side of the water, and now you're Aqua controlling.
we didn't talk about yet. We didn't talk about Themyscira and the opening scene with Steppenwolf, which was pretty awful.
It was pretty bad.
I thought it was a really, really, really badly done action scene.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them like closing behind her and those people like sacrificing themselves for her to get out.
That was heavy.
But again, with these actors, like not the main the main girls, whoever she is, I forget her name.
Connie Nielsen. Queen Hippolyta. Yeah.
But everyone else, it's awful. It's like an extra who's got like, on the day they're like, hey, you've got this one big line. Can you do it? They're like, yeah, I can do it. And then they put the camera on them and there's like, there's these nameless, like, you know, and it's the characters who just like, I don't know if they're tough or not. You know, they're just like, there's just nothing about it that I don't know. I just didn't really buy.
There were a couple of times. Well, it's
the girls around them in Wonder Woman felt tougher. I don't know the names, but the girls, the four main like warrior women who hung out around Robin Wright. I was like, yeah, they look like they can kick my ass.
Totally.
And then these people look like they found models who they were like, ooh, you look really pretty. Let's put you in a Wonder Woman.
Can you also ride horses?
Yeah, you can ride a horse, right? Like, okay.
I mean,
run as fast as you can, and then it just fucking jumps 1,000. That was kind of funny.
It's so funny because it didn't seem like they just put them there. They were just the boxes, the mother boxes were just sitting there with really stone protecting them.
they have it open for thousands of years. I gotta be honest. If anything, I was impressed
Yeah.
that they had people fucking watching them still.
Oh,
like around,
yeah.
like that's pretty disciplined. I'm like,
That's
it's been
so
1,000
true.
years, and you got like 8 people still, like even in the, underwater, they're like, we may banish people, we may have all these kings, but no, we're still gonna watch this
We're
box.
going to watch it. But you would have thought that they would have come up with some other
Yeah.
sort of, other than just, six warriors.
I wish they pulled a Hellboy 2 with the man's box. So in Hellboy
Okay.
2 is what they need it's the same thing. What does he need to control the Golden Army? He needs 3 parts of this helmet bracelet
Oh my
thing,
God,
right?
that's right, yes.
And what do they have? They broke it up into 3.
Mm-hmm.
They gave them away. Anyways, the humans
Yeah,
have
yeah.
one, right?
Right.
And the one the humans have,
Mm-hmm.
he ends up like we see him steal it. But he goes to like this big auction, right, at nighttime.
Okay, yeah.
And they're all buying and bidding on it. And they're like, what was believed to be this? And then he walks in, the villain, and is like, no, this is not fake. This is real. Murders them all and steals the final piece.
That's a good call, yeah.
But the idea of it being like humans have forgotten about it. Like this is like what they fucking buried it 2 feet underground.
Yeah.
Like how long is that? 1,000 years. Someone dug that up at some point, and then
Sure.
they didn't really make a noise. I forgot where was the mother box? Who had it? They just had it in the ship. They were just studying it. Someone brought it to them. Like
Yeah, well,
it's
apparently...
never really explained who discovered the mother box. From
No,
the
but
humans.
Silas Stone had it for some reason.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting in the corner of
Yeah,
his...
that's lame. I like
Yeah.
it. Again, humans. I would have stole Hellboy too. The
Sure.
humans forgot about it, and it's like this thing. It's a relic from time. Remember?
Yeah.
Because we don't even believe Amazonians. We don't believe those things.
Yeah.
So it's I think that's a cool secretive thing that they kind of dropped the ball on.
I
there,
think so
but
too.
whatever.
Yeah. And then it's just a whole bunch of lateral passes.
Yeah. Where
you know?
where was the army too? It's like they're running out. It's like there's 3 people.
Yeah.
And then like 2 minutes later, like fucking thousands of horses come riding. The corner.
Right?
It's
Where
like,
did they why weren't they hanging out? Like did no one
it's on an offshoot of Themyscira, I guess. It's like on the far
Yes.
corner.
And again, it's just that white island that's
boring.
sort of plain.
Yeah.
You know, I know that they're differentiating everything, but that one just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just kind of, and their outfits are too similar for me. Like way too
Yeah.
similar. Exactly. And that's the problem with a lot of these movies, I guess. Everyone kind of looks the same when they're on the same planet.
Sure.
And I get it, but I just, watching Star Wars: The Phantom Menace the other day.
Yeah.
Not a great movie at all. But the little robots.
Yeah.
There's like some have red and some have yellow,
Yeah.
right? And the clone troopers, like some have different colors. Like
Sure.
I don't know. It would have just been. Maybe they'd probably do that up close, but I would have liked from afar to have been able to tell that maybe
Yeah,
the
like,
armors look way different.
Does everyone have to wear white tunics?
Yeah.
You know, they don't have any dye on that entire
I feel you.
island. I don't know. No, I agree. Yeah.
But I did like going another thing, man. I don't know how you feel about this. I like them kind of hooking up Batman and Wonder Woman or hinting at that.
Well, yeah.
That we'll never see because we're never getting more movies, and Ben Affleck is
Never.
not Batman ever again, unfortunately.
Come back, Batfleck.
Deal with it. Come back! Please!
No, I liked I liked them working together. I liked the couple of scenes they got to support each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about the Alfred scene where he's like,
yeah.
there hasn't been many dates around this house in a while.
Whatever he said,
Whatever.
the most homey move I've ever heard someone do. I just think it's just such a smooth old man setup. Like he's just laying down so much groundwork for Batman. Like I was like, oh man, bravo. Like honestly, that's probably my favorite line.
Yeah,
And it's like an
yeah.
ADR line. I don't know why, but for some reason there's something about it that just makes me go, oh man, Alfred. There's like absolutely nothing like nicer you could do for somebody else than like lowly just open put the word out there for Wonder Woman.
Listen, Master Bruce, you have been very focused on all of this, and I'm kind of sick of it, and I don't get any free time, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hook you up. Now, don't fight it.
Yeah, I feel like people usually is it Superman, Wonder Woman they always try to hook up?
No, it's actually Batman,
Batman?
Wonder Woman in
Good.
the comics, cartoons, yeah.
Yeah, Batman,
yeah.
you get that.
Yes, indeed. So the final battle, we talked about that. They don't really do
In Orangeville.
in Orange. Yeah.
What the fuck was that?
I mean, and again, there was no payoff to the fact that that we followed that one family around the entire time.
What was the show stakes?
No.
That there was people in jeopardy.
Yeah, there were a bunch of people. We didn't really follow anybody in Avengers. There were a couple of people here and there, you know. There might be a zoom in on somebody, but these people locking their doors and stuff, we didn't get the sense of scope of how many people were in danger. Or who,
no.
Like when,
was it the world? It looked like literally no one knew. Like, from this aspect, and maybe it's also because the other DCEU movies make it, like, way too big of a point that everyone's doing. Batman vs. Superman's got, like, 15 minutes of people talking on fucking news about Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And the end, like, it's well, it was stupid. The president, you know, the general from the last movie. It's on all the news stations. Everyone's hurled around everything. You know, Man of Steel, everyone's watching the ending. The city's getting destroyed. They watch Zod come up. Even Suicide Squad, it's on TV. Everyone sees it. And then this is like, does anybody know except for a few Russians? Am I going to be... I just went to Ralph's and I was in line. I always look at, you know, they have the magazines. Like,
sure.
You just... I never read them, but you see the covers, right? And it's like, this is a National Enquirer story, you know? Like, it was a weekly. Am I going to be walking and be like, oh, woman sees, you know... beam in sky, in Russia, like, okay, sure. Like, is that what the stakes of this movie are?
Right? Yeah. Bat Boy scene somewhere. Yeah. Oh, that fits in actually perfectly. There's never been a lower stakes, not lower stakes because it was clearly going to destroy the world. But I guess the point is that real superheroes don't need
of course,
need the time. You know, the airtime. What did you think about... So they save everybody.
So we think.
I guess.
Oh, random, I want to say, I do like the little... The crystally things that go in and out. Like the purple little worm.
That were zooming...
Those are not really explainable. I like that visually.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
I thought that was interesting.
If it wasn't orange everywhere.
It never really... It was more just an aspect of, like, if it was a video game, it would be... obstacles for the Batmobile to go around because it never seemed to attack. It just sort of
came up
and went back down to...
It's like a vine growing.
Yeah. So I guess maybe it wasn't necessarily an actual attack. It was just a side effect of the changing. Okay, gotcha.
But that was cool.
I liked that too. The Batmobile is not equipped. None of the things that Batman has are equipped to fight anybody stronger than Two-Face, apparently. Like, it was getting torn apart by the... It had guns on the thing, but it was getting torn apart by the parademons, both in the sewers and out on the streets.
I mildly appreciated that, but they didn't go into it enough.
I do too.
That at least these parademons, to an mild extent, they were harder to kill than the Chitauri and the Age of Ultron bots.
Yes.
Like, it was difficult. You couldn't just throw something and it ran through 4 of them.
Right.
And slice their heads off, you know?
Yeah.
You couldn't Deadpool them in one shot through them all. It was a nice, I mean, those are people, that's possible. But, you know, that same kind of idea.
I did like that.
You Batman was like watching, you see Wonder Woman kicking ass.
Yeah.
And then Batman's getting fighting one parademon, getting his ass kicked.
I am trying, guys. Yeah. I don't know what else to do. And that is a hard line to balance to still include him and in this fight of gods. And I think they did it fine. They included him well. He's always been probably my favorite part of these couple of movies.
Yeah.
And then we had Cyborg and AquaMan teaming up and him throwing him and catching him, and that was
kind of the one moment of interaction. Looked really awful though.
It really did.
Screen, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bunch of them hanging on wires and then turning into CGI people and then landing and
pretty much.
But that's the thing. And then so they save the world. Superman separates the boxes and we're good now. I don't know what happened to the boxes.
Here's what I read originally. I'm diving into it, and this sounds completely plausible, like it made sense. So the Doomsday setup that was cut from this movie originally was when they make Superman, when they make Superman, with put him in the pool.
Yeah.
When Cyborg puts his thing in, he has a premonition that sees every possible vision or future of Superman.
Oh.
So that's why they kind of had the last minute, I'm not sure about this.
Okay.
Is because that's actually actually in the movie makes no sense, because all of a sudden they're like, I'm not sure about this, and then they ignore that and just keep going through with it. There's not even any more questions.
Well, you're outvoted.
Yeah. And it's like, are you outvoted? Who knows?
Yeah, I know.
But
Like,
they guess they
I'm the
contemplate it
billionaire.
more because they see a possible outcome. But they make the decision. It's too late. It must be. The stakes are never that high, but it's like, it must be done.
Right?
So we have to bring Superman back. So bring Superman back so they get a vision of Doomsday then. And then at the end, when he dies, he gets sucked into the mother box or something.
Oh.
They look into the mother box and they are able to see Doomsday or something like that.
And then
they see the future.
I'll be there in the
I don't know if
second movie.
they see each other before it's done, but they all look into it and see a glimpse at the future.
Interesting.
And then that's like the big ending.
Now that's what I kind of... I know that, but
they canceled that, so
obviously they couldn't
maybe.
do that in this. But didn't you feel like everybody got an ending? For themselves.
Yeah.
Barry got to see his father again with his.
I got a job.
Yeah,
and why is his dad crying?
Which leads into, I guess,
I'm not being mean,
but no, didn't he already have like 4 jobs?
Yeah, and it's but now it's but the thing is, it's a job in I think the field he wants.
Yeah,
but they just say a job. He should have been like, I'm a paralegal.
I'm a lab technician or something like that.
Yeah,
because that's what's
are you a janitor?
Because that's what's implied is that he's forensic. He's working on forensics at whatever.
But I thought it was more like, yo, Batman hooked it up and you're free to go.
Well, he bought a bank for Clark.
Yeah,
he couldn't just say, "Hey, this kid's really good with numbers." And just
he couldn't buy him. He could pay for the new for a lawyer.
Yeah,
like he's Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
He could buy the best lawyer in the world.
He's like, I think this kid. Whatever.
Anyways, we're nitpicking for fun.
What was Diana's end? She was. Oh, she stopped some heist.
Oh yeah.
At the end, and then set. I don't know.
That was weird.
That was very.
That one felt a little
anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic and almost too big of an. They tried to show too much for a tag.
It was saying that. Yeah, if just visually they were trying to say, well, now she's opening herself up to being a role model and to being
which I did.
Good,
she was helping kids out or signing them or
no, she had arrested people and then set a piece of art into a box and then talked to kids. It was like, oh wow, lots is going on here.
Kids now, she's a voice.
So good for her. Cyborg sort of was coming to grips with his powers. He was making armor rather than it being all wavy. And then Aquaman did what?
I don't remember. Well, what did Batman do? Batman was
drank. I don't know.
No, what Batman had one too. Batman
did he? He was with Clark. He bought the house.
That was the last moment. Oh yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah, was it? I don't know. I guess.
Can't remember.
And then there's the Superman flies off at the very, very end.
Yes.
But does Aquaman have one? He has to. They had to have one for everybody.
Yeah, they
right?
had to. But
or if they didn't, that's stupid. They definitely did, right?
Is he just standing at the water? I don't know. He doesn't have a alter ego really on land.
Something happened.
So yeah, something.
But also,
happened.
like Clark Kent's just alive again. Like he's just in. He went back to. You couldn't go back to Metropolis.
No, you couldn't.
You can't even go to the same fucking coffee shop, bro. You were a newspaper writer. Anywhere in the city, I'm sure you got tables. I'm sure you got that.
Yeah.
Lois Lane knows everybody,
sure.
and everyone knows Lois Lane. So if she was sad for months that you died or wasn't around, and her boyfriend died. Oh, Clark died. Oh, it gets. Hey,
also,
you look like that kind of.
Also,
what are you doing?
There were cops out there when he was resurrected, and she was just screaming Clark in front of them.
Thank God. This is okay. We're late into it. We need to talk about this. The identities make no sense, and they don't even care about them. It's kind of hilarious. So, like, Aquaman and Bruce.
Yeah.
He's, first of all, like, he's there as Bruce Wayne,
sure.
and in front of all of these people, he's just like, yo, Bruce, yo, Batman,
you're crazy.
And it's like everyone can hear.
Yeah.
And it's like, Bruce doesn't care. No one cares. And it's like, what? They don't have the phone? They don't have internet? They're not going to care? I mean, it's not like, even though they're in Alaska or as they're Eskimos or wherever the fuck they are, they still know who the fuck Superman is.
Right.
And I'm sure they know who the fuck Batman is.
We all know a lot of rich, I don't know.
It's just like, and that throughout the whole movie, they treat them like
that's what
he says. Alfred.
Remember what I said?
And it's like, hey, you can't just call him fucking Alfred, bro.
Right.
Like you're next to a villain or a robber.
Right.
Hey, Alfred. It's like who? Doesn't Bruce Wayne have a servant
butler
named Alfred?
The only servant that he has. For
how many
God's
people
sake?
have fucking butlers these days? Still, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Who's he talking to? No, that was sort of my point when they were all talking, calling each other by their names, and it's like they don't think up ahead or at all about the surrounding thing. When they write the scripts, it doesn't feel like anybody but the two people who are talking are in the room. It really doesn't. Like, nobody thought it through, and they were like, oh, circumstances matter. Yeah. So maybe let's not have, Diana Prince is... all of them don't have masks either. Like, the Flash and Batman have masks.
Not that they should.
No. And that's fine. But it's so funny that they really don't give a shit about that at all. So, but I was just... the ending, with it all being singularly good for everybody having their own ending, there wasn't really a team ending. Was there? I mean, they all sort of stood next to each other.
That was the moment, and they get the pound, which is the full circle.
Oh, yeah. That's right. That
but
was kind
it's
of
like
funny.
A composited green screen shot. Doesn't even look like they're all there.
It looks like the movie poster, which it kind of is. So,
yeah. So
I don't know. So wrapping it up, let's talk about the two post-credit scenes.
One is Whedon, the first one, and the second one was Zack Snyder.
Yeah. The tone is clearly understood.
And again, that's actually good for people to understand. Look at just the way those things are shot, and you can tell what I mean, people, when you get the Blu-ray or when you go back in theaters. Just look at the depth and look at the lenses that they're kind of shooting on, and I think you can see the two director differences, especially when you watch the post-credit scenes.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you see they're in a cornfield, Flash and Superman, and it is very clear that it's all CGI and stuff, and they race just like in the comic books, just like in the cartoons, which is fun. And
it was an actual. I was happy because it was a scene that was fine for a post-credit scene. I've been really mad at Marvel with these post-credit scenes because I feel like
where it's intrinsic to the rest of the story.
It's intrinsic to the rest of the story. It's finishing plot. It should be in the movie. It feels like something they just wanted to put in the ending but couldn't figure out, so they just throw it in the end. Or they've done some things where they put scenes from the next movie in it. And it's like, this was just a nice, like, lighthearted thing that you wouldn't fit in the end of the film. Doesn't necessarily be there for the story, but is a nice, like, side tie thing.
It's just more to a story. That didn't.
It's a fun little side gag. I enjoyed it. And then the later one we'll talk about, unfortunately, we'll never see it.
No.
Deathstroke, the villain in Batman. Ben Affleck's directed Batman. Oh wait, that movie's not happening.
Right.
Well, he's the villain in Ben Affleck acting Batman. Oh wait, that movie's not happening.
Yeah.
He's the villain in Matt Reeves' Batman. Oh, actually, Matt Reeves said no, it's not happening.
Ugh.
So I don't know who he's there for. The Legion of Doom, is that what they're called?
The Legion of Doom. Yeah.
And it's a cool setup, but it ain't ever gonna happen.
No.
And but it was actually a really good post-credit scene.
It was absolutely cool, and it was the thing where you would not need to see it to see the evil movie or the
next
Justice
movie
League for Legion of Doom.
And I'm sure if they were to make the movie, as long as they have a scene, like with Lex Luthor and him, you don't need to see them meet for the first time. It's actually unnecessary for that plot, probably. Because you can start off the Legion of Doom already exists, so that works as a post-credit scene completely. So bravo,
and also
now get the movie right. You got the post-credit scene right, DC. Congratulations. Now
Why
get the movie.
Little tiny pieces. So like it reminds me of that post-credit scene from Pirates of the Caribbean. Better shot than the entire movie, for God's sake. But I will note that Jesse Eisenberg, super toned down. I know he didn't get a bunch to say, but he was more even keeled.
I like that level. I'm like, I mean, I've already accepted him now as Lex Luthor. If they're going forward, he's who they cast.
Exactly.
But I'm fine with that level, and I like the Legion of Doom idea, and it would have been cool. So the idea originally
and Joe Manganiello looked pretty good.
He looked the part.
As Deathstroke,
yeah. It's badass as fuck.
Hell yeah.
And I would be down for a Deathstroke Gareth Evans directed movie. That's what, Gareth.
Right?
And that's the guy who did the Raid and Raid 2. He's supposed to direct.
Hell yeah. Shall we get to scoring?
Let's score this puppy up.
Okie dokie.
AJ, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. You're wearing the Superman shirt, so
I am wearing the Superman shirt. I just wanted to be festive.
Of course.
Well, listen. I really enjoyed aspects of this that I was surprised that I wouldn't. I was going into this with very low expectations. It's a mess. No, it is. Like, there's such good aspects of it, but it just doesn't all click.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm gonna give this a C-.
Oh, ouch! That's the same grade you gave Batman vs Superman.
Yeah, but probably like a couple of points above.
Yeah, you gave Batman vs Superman a 70, so...
Oh, yeah. No, this is definitely like a 70. Okay, I'll give it a solid C.
There it is. Look at
74.
You're welcome, DC fan voice.
Yeah, there you go.
I just converted him from a
Thank
from
you.
a 1.5 star to 2 stars.
Oh, oof. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm gonna be surprised. A lot of people over here right now.
Ooh.
I didn't have the world's lowest expectations humanly possible, and I went in saying, "Hey, as long as I don't check my watch,
Yeah,
and as long as I'm not wanting to leave the theater."
and physically angry.
Yeah. Would the movie have been more interesting maybe if we got a Zack Snyder's full version? Or is there a more interesting version that poses more question movie out there?
Sure.
Yes. But does that necessarily mean it's a better movie? No. So we've got this average, overly generic, just cookie cutter, off the line, overcut movie. But it does happen to have Batman in it, and Superman in it, and Wonder Woman in it, and Aquaman and Flash. So I'm going to give it an 80.
What?
I'm going to give Justice League
a
B-.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
Everyone else is like, just a B-. There's some people mad, and you're like, and it's funny, you're like, wow.
No, I really get it. It's not as bad as it could have been. Clearly.
Yes.
So that's a success.
It's average.
Yes. Yeah. No.
But I will buy the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I will watch it like 2 or 3 times in a week for no
Probably.
reason.
Yeah.
Watch it, watch the commentary, watch it again, and then I will put it away, and I will whip it out 6 years later.
Sure.
One time. And then wait again.
Yeah.
For a long dormant period of time.
I understand.
So B-. Very surprising.
No, I get it. Well, those are our scores. Oh, hey. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yes, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
That's right. And down in the description, there are links to all of our social media websites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even iTunes. Please subscribe there and give us a review. It's really helpful.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
That's right.
Good job, AJ.
I'm not going to do that.
Me, Glee, got stung by a bee. Look at me, my name is Jay, the month ain't May. Today is a good day.
You could have rhymed your last name. Me, B, Sa, Lahi. I don't know.
Oh,
right?
See, you're better than me. Wow. I want to make a statement to the world while we're doing this in-between outtake thing. I don't know if you noticed my shirt, but it's like not centered. It's centered. Literally printed incorrectly. See, this is how it lays.
For something that is splitting them literally down the half.
Like, it should be like this.
Yeah.
You know,
That's disappointing. Probably
just saying, oh, you're just too skinny. It just doesn't fit you. Maybe.
Maybe you're absolutely correct.
Maybe I'm fucking wrong, okay?
I'm AJ Hamilton.
And I'm Jay Salahi.
And this is... Fuck me.